Yo YouTube, what is good? So welcome back to another Raw and Rapid review, and today we are going to be diving into Steins Gate. Now this anime was absolutely fantastic. I loved every single moment. Little backstory, I did watch this anime. It wasn't one of my first, but I watched it pretty early on in my anime journey. It was I watched it like 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago is when I started it, and then like about halfway through the show, I just stopped watching. It was after episode, I think like episode 14 is where I stopped watching. I don't know why, and I picked it up like a few months later and finished it. And yeah, like I said, like 3 years later, I rewatched it recently with my dad, and I loved it, man. I loved every single moment. I think it is absolutely amazing. First off, the overall plot is amazing. The first episode just picks off. There's this thing happens. Shit goes down. And you're like, what the hell's going on? You're so confused. Everything, like, it's all confusing. And it just that initial episode sets off like this mystery, like you trying to figure out like the whole mystery behind everything. And I love that aspect. I love when an anime makes me like use my mind and think and try to understand what's going on. I love when shows do that because it keeps me engaged, and it just makes the anime way more interesting. Now a big criticism I see for this anime is that the initial episodes were not good. People say like the build up was so slow, so boring, and I think it's the exact opposite, man. I loved every single episode of this anime, and I think partially because I've already watched it, so I know what to expect. But also, I remember the first time I watched it, I didn't even find those episodes boring. I loved seeing them build the characters, them introduce all the new characters and basically who they are, what's going on. And then every single episode, there's a little bit of development and like them finding out what's going on. The little development with the phone wave, the time machine microwave thing. I loved it. Every single episode just increased my desire to figure out everything. And I just love that. I love animes that make me do that. And then the characters were also amazing, like I already said. I think it has some of the best character development I've ever seen. The side characters are really good. Daru is funny as shit. Kurisu's obviously kind of like a parallel to Okabe in a way. Not really, but they're kind of like the same. The fact that they both love science. It's just Okabe's way more eccentric with it. Or yeah, he likes to, I don't know, be all crazy and shit. And she's like more of she likes to like kind of suppress it a little bit, like show like she's not into it, but deep down she really is. I really like that. And then obviously in Mayuri, I don't know her name. Obviously her character was a really good it made room for really good development for Okabe. Her character being there, it showed that like he really does care and he can be serious at times when he needs to be. And I really like that character. Then obviously all the other side characters like I don't know her name, the like the maid girl, and then the Ruka and Moeka, and what's the other girl's name? So the girl, the time traveler girl. I just love the whole plot. I think it's amazing. I'm just gonna sound like a broken record, like I do every single one of these reviews. I'm just gonna keep saying it. It's so good, but it really is. I can't stress that enough, man. This show is something. And those initial episodes, obviously, it's all build up. It is building up, and by the time that shit happens, if you were actually paying attention and focusing and stuff like that, when shit actually starts happening, you're gonna be way more into it. You're gonna care a lot more for the characters, and it's just gonna be a lot better if you took the time to pay attention in those initial episodes. And I just think it was fantastic. And this is probably also one of the funniest anime I've ever seen. Like I said earlier, Daru, he is funny as shit, man. He says some wild things.
You look adorable! I've never been so embarrassed before.
Don't be embarrassed. You're the prettiest boy these goofballs have ever seen.
Balls or not, man, I would so hit that.
Yeah, obviously he's like your classic anime perv weirdo, but I think it's done so well in this show because he is just so fucking funny, man. His interactions with some characters, and obviously Okabe is funny as shit too, man.
How's it hanging? I'ma bust out some questions, yo, so holla at your boy! Word to your mother.
He is so over exaggerating everything. His Hyohuin Kyoma and all that. It's just so funny, man. And then like I just think the whole vibe of the show was amazing, that it was there. Them being in the lab together, just those moments in those initial episodes really hit, man. They just add to like the sense of like community, I guess, like them all being a group, and those initial episodes just build on that, and it just makes it so when shit actually starts happening, it's a lot more emotional. You care about the characters a lot more because you see all these interactions that they have with each other, and yeah, it's just really good. I also think that this show handled the concept of time travel so well. There's like so many series out there that have to do with time travel and different world lines and butterfly effect and things like that, and this show does it so perfectly to where it's like such a confusing and such a hard to understand concept, and the way that this show has captured it so well and integrated it into the story so much, showing this character's like development through it is just so well done, and I think it's unmatched. Like this is probably the best example of those topics in fiction, probably. I mean, I haven't seen every single show that has to do with time travel and things like that, but this one was done so well that I just don't see it being matched. I think the story was structured very well. Obviously, the first episode hinting at a few things that happened in later episodes, and vice versa. Like every other episode, you know, it's kind of hinting at something, you know, and I really like that aspect. I think it was structured very well, and then at the end, like kind of the reveal happening, and you kind of realizing like, oh, that's what that was back then, and things like that. I just love when shows do that like shock of realization. Yeah, so I think the show is structured really well. And then obviously, like I said, the character development was great. Okabe, I think, is one of the best developed characters in anime. He's such a good character. You know, seeing him be this like self-proclaimed mad scientist, he being a little whack job, you know, whatever. And you know, he never really takes things seriously. Like he does, but like not in a serious way. You know, and then it kind of gets to a point where he needs to take things seriously, and that kind of changed him as a person. You know, what he went through was obviously traumatizing to him. It desensitized him so much to where he didn't even care when, you know, that person was dying over and over again. It got to a point where he was just like, you know, it didn't affect him, and then that showed that like he was already broken, you know. And yeah, I just think that was really good. And then obviously it just, man, I don't know how to put it into words just how much I love Okabe's character development. I just think it's really good. And then obviously his development with Kurisu and their relationship, I think that was really nice. And his interaction with like all the different characters, like the maid girl and Ruka, then Moeka, and then the time traveler girl. Like he has each moment with all these different characters that only he remembers, which I think just adds way more to the story, because like he remembers all these moments he spent with them, all this time he spent trying to save them, and to them that never happened, you know. So he has all these memories from every single world line, and everyone else just doesn't really, and that just makes him like change so much from what he was in the beginning, and I just love that. Like I said, like I kind of mentioned already, this show is traumatic. Okabe goes through so much shit that is just, I don't know how he even stands it, bro. He had to watch a little bit of spoilers here. Skip ahead if you don't want spoilers. He had to watch his best friend, his childhood friend that he's been, you know, kind of taken care of. He kind of calls her his hostage because, like, you know, she was deeply hurt by like her grandmother's death, and he was like, well, you're gonna be my hostage or whatever, blah blah blah. I don't really I understand it, but like I don't know how to put it into words.
She'd gaze patiently into the sky, as if the woman was coming back for her soon. And one day, she almost did. The sun broke through the clouds. Mayuri was swathed in light. She reached into the sky, unafraid. At that moment, I knew I was about to lose her. Mayuri! I'm not letting them take you. You're my hostage, do you hear me? You can't escape a mad scientist, so don't even bother trying. Please. In my panic, I blurted out the first thing that came to mind.
That relationship, but he had to watch her die dozens of times over and over again, him desperately trying to save her from this tragedy, and he seemingly can't. He's like, it's hopeless, but he can't let her die, so he keeps doing the same thing over and over again, you know. And it's just showing him slowly break down. It's so emotional, man. I think one of the most hard, like the saddest scene in the show to me. It like basically I started like crying when I watched this. It was on episode 13, the episode where he's going back over and over again trying to save her, and it's that moment of realization where he realizes like he can't fix this. Like it's destined to happen. Like no matter what he does, she's gonna die every time. It was in the train station when she accidentally got pushed in front of the train and died, and he just is like standing there in shock. Dude, that scene hits so hard because like that is the moment when he realizes like there's no getting out of this. Like she is going to die every single time, no matter what, unless he changes something. And that just moment like shocked me, and it actually made me like hurt, and like just seeing him go through so much shit to try to save his best friend, it's honestly just, it's tragic, bro. It is. Yeah, it shows very emotional. Obviously at the ending, when he finally the path, I forget what he says. He says like the path Steins Gate chose or something. I don't even know. But like at the end when he finally gets with Kurisu, and obviously she doesn't remember their relationship, anything about it, but he does. All she knows is that he stabbed himself, tased her in this room like a few years ago, and that's all she knows of him. But he knows this deep relationship, this deep connection that they had, where they were in love with each other. And I think the ending was just great, man. Him finally fixing everything, getting back to that original world line, and just I don't know, man. That ending was just really fucking good. I think it was not one of the best endings I've ever seen, but it was a solid ending. Now I know Steins Gate, there's obviously more to this show. This isn't it. There's spin-off Steins Gate Zero. There's like a movie or something. I don't really plan on watching those because yes, I did love Steins Gate originally, but it's kind of like how it is with Code Geass. Like I love Code Geass, one of my favorite animes of all time, but I'm never gonna watch those spin-offs because those spin-offs like change the story, and I just don't like them. And I know that the spin-offs for Steins Gate might not change the story, but they probably don't at all. They probably just add to it. But I'm fine. I'm content with this 24 episode anime. It gave me everything I wanted out of it. I loved it. I loved just everything about it, man. And some people will say that the show is too confusing to understand, and I can understand like if you don't understand the show at all and you don't like, that's a good reason, but that's not a reason to call it bad. You know, the show is obviously very confusing, one of the most confusing anime I've ever seen, but if you're really paying attention, it's not easy, but you can't understand what happens. And I'm not gonna lie, I get a little confused when I'm trying to like think about like what even went down in those last few episodes, like the whole timeline and everything. It's all just a big mess. It's all confusing, but I do understand it. But it's hard to piece it together, I guess is what I'm trying to say. If I had to say one flaw for this show, it would probably be that Mr. Braun, the character of Mr. Braun, I feel like that was so random. Him being like a CERN dog, him being like this traitor kind of. And now I don't really understand if on the initial world line he is, because in my eyes, or what I kind of picked up from it is, I think her name was Suzuha, I don't know, that one time traveler girl. The only reason he became a CERN dog was because she, I don't even know, like, because he said something when the episode where he killed himself, when he went in back in that like she like saved him from basically being homeless and dying on the streets or whatever, and that he said like he had to do some things to get where he was today, but you know, whatever. So I don't know if in the original timeline he is, but that's just one thing that I didn't really like. I feel like they didn't explain that well enough. Maybe I just didn't understand it, but I feel like they should have went more in depth with that situation, because I want to understand, like, is he a spy or is he a certain dog in the original world line? Like, how does that all go down? I don't know. But yeah, that's like the only flaw I have. Everything else is fine. I absolutely love the characters. I love the soundtrack. I love the development, the story, every single thing about the show I think is amazing. I think it's easily one of the best anime of all time. Now on my personal like top 10 list, it's on there, but it's not like I think it's like number 6 or 7, maybe 8. I don't know. I love this series so much, but there's a lot more that I love more. Now my sentimental value for the show isn't that high. I just think it's such a beautiful story that is really hard to match in anime. So I think objectively it's one of the best anime of all time. I'm comfortable saying that. But yeah, overall I'm going to give Steins Gate a 9.8 out of 10. Very high rating for me, and I think it's amazing. If you have not watched Steins Gate and you watched this full video, sorry you probably got spoilers, but definitely still go watch it because it is an amazing series that everyone needs to watch at some point. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this review, make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below your thoughts on Steins Gate. Do you like it? Do you guys think I have valid opinions? Like I said, I'm not, or I didn't say that this episode, but like I said in previous videos, I'm not like this. I'm not that smart, okay? I'm not good at analyzing things. I try to be, but I'm not. I know I'm not. So when I'm trying to like get my points across, you might not really understand it. I might explain it really bad. I'm trying. You know, every episode I probably will get a little bit better at it. I hope to one day be able to, you know, go fully in depth with these shows and these reviews and then be really good. But for now, this is what we're gonna have to bear with. Like I said, I don't write scripts for these. I just start recording. I put down some bullet points of things I'm gonna go over, and then I just start talking. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed, make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below. Like I said, your thoughts on Steins Gate. What do you think? Comment down below other anime you want me to review, because I will gladly do any I've seen. My MAL will be in the bio, so if you want to go check that out, maybe see an anime that you want me to review, let me know, and I will. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.